What's up, guys and gals, and welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Darkest Dungeon. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here today as we check out the game actually just patched this morning. The developers hotfixed for the first time, and actually they made some changes that I think are pretty good. They were very specific, very targeted changes, and so in that respect, I think that's a very good plan for the developers. Nobody likes it when sweeping changes across the board like wipe out all your favorite stuff. The things that they changed were very specific concerns that have been coming up on the forums, and so I'd like to take a minute at the beginning of this episode and talk about that now. After that, we'll probably follow it up with a little bit of a short dungeon, and then we'll probably try and do something a little bit bigger later on. I don't know what dungeons are actually being offered right now, but my assumption is that as we get closer to the hag fight, our selection is going to become more and more limited. So the changes that went into the game, well, the Grave Robber got a little bit of a buff, her speed went up, and then additionally, the developers added a bit of a crit buff to a couple of the attacks right there. You see that Thrown Dagger? So for example, Thrown Dagger, and I believe, let's see here, a few of the attacks, there it is. So Poison Dart and Thrown Dagger both got a self-stacking accuracy buff when they are thrown out. Other characters that got changed, the Hellion got brought down a little bit, her HP was nerfed, and then they nerfed Iron Swan, which is only usable on... yeah, it's only usable from the front line now, whereas Iron Swan was usable from, I think, like the front 3 or the front 2 before. It used to be insanely good. Now it's good. It's just very positional. And so actually, the Hellion has become more of a frontline fighter across the last patch, and so just be aware that if you're playing on the patch as of, let's see, what's the date today? I play so many video games, I lose so much track. I lose track of the time constantly. So it's the 11th of February as this is being recorded. So if you're playing like after the 11th of February, there it is. She's been nerfed slightly. The other character that actually really pleases me that was brought up was the Plague Doctor. The Plague Doctor was buffed in the patch. They actually added a heal to Battlefield Medicine, increased the blight and plague resistance, and then also increased her damage. And so she is all around better now. So, you know, if we can find ourselves one like that one right there, Raminel, I would actually love to bring one along because we're not stocked up on that character as of right now. It does look like the damage mod was lowered on Noxious Blast. The Plague Grenade damage appears to be the same. However, with Battlefield Medicine, they just added a 1-to-1 heal. Okay, that's not like amazing, but I'd be very interested to see how it increases as you play the game. So for example, like a level 5 Plague Doctor who's put all of her ranks into Battlefield Medicine, how does that become? And also, does the heal affect both her and the other person? Because with the Plague Doctor, when she attempts to cure somebody's blight, she also cures it on herself. And so, does the one go to the other person and to her? In that case, it's still quite the useful ability, and this makes her a much better sort of like backup healer slash DPSer, I guess. A lot of very cool opportunities now beginning to open up. So, I think that with these characters, we have a lot of stuff to fix with some of these characters. So, let me throw Sister Didi up inside the sanitarium. There it is. And so I'm going to give her, yeah, let's get rid of her slow draw. We're a little bit low on cash right now, but I very much prefer to get rid of some of her negative traits before we go much further. Cardin is actually just going to be a fill-in character. My intent for Cardin is never for her to really be a character that we keep. I'm just using her as a stand-in while I get Ansgot and Sister Didi all nice and tuned up in between fights. So nobody tell Cardin that she's not a permanent fixture in this group, but she's not. She's not going to be around for long. On this side, I need to give her Barbaric Yop, and we need to move that around slightly. We've got Bleed Out, which is an ability that I don't tend to use very much just because of the debuff. Let's see here. Let me swap her around. I'll probably get rid of Breakthrough and give her Yop instead. I do like Iron Swan very much because occasionally it can allow you to snipe somebody in a back line that you really need to get rid of. But anyways, who do we need to level up today? Well, we've got a lot of options. We can actually take a Lobby run, I think. Let's do a Lobby run. I think it's going to be necessary. We need to actually get some backup characters all nice and ready to go. Unfortunately, the game looks like it may not be conducive to that request. It looks like it actually might be throwing us in to go after some fights that we're not ready for. That's a little bit disappointing. I can go for the... we'll go for the medium green, I guess, then. It was not my intent to do a medium mission today, but going after Swine Prince or going after Wizened Hag is not going to come out well for us at the moment. I guess we could go after it. I mean, it's an option, I suppose. Is our A-team up and ready to, like, rock? If our A-team is good, we can give it a shot. I mean, it's not a terrible plan. I don't know if I should bring Viewpont. I'm a little bit interested in how this is going to play out. Let's bring Revere. Oh, she's got a lot of problems, though. I need to give her a bit more time. Yeah, at the sanitarium. Do I have enough, like, resources right now to bump up the sanitarium to 2 slots? I need more busts. That is really, really unfortunate. Ooh, okay, so let's do this medium right here, because actually I need to take Revere, and she needs to be inside the sanitarium for a while to get rid of some of her negative traits. I mean, they're not going to negatively affect her too much because she's not a DPSer, and a lot of these are sort of like DPS debuffs. Still, I'd like her to be fixed up a bit better. Let's take some Lobies in. We'll take Machalt. We'll take Viewpont, because I think on extended runs, the true usefulness... Oh, look, it saves your party when you go back and come back and forth. They changed that, too. I didn't see that in the patch notes. Okay, so we've got him. I'm going to put him in the second row right now. He's got Satanophobia. He's not going to hit level 3 if I do this right. I hope not. Let's bring Corsi instead. Just in case. Just in case. I really hope they remove that constraint. I strongly dislike the fact that you can't overlevel your characters if you want. It's a valid gameplay strategy. If you lack in skill, I think players should be allowed to overlevel the content in order to compensate. I mean, what's fair is fair. Players that want the challenge can play it as they want to, and then players that don't feel like they're very good at the game can overlevel to give themselves a better advantage against the challenges ahead. It seems like it's a self-choice thing to me. So anyways, I don't like that you're blocked off from doing certain missions based on the level of your characters. Let's go! We will provision. I think we'll go for... Oh, I think 12 torches should do her just fine. And I'll probably go for... Let's see. 20 seems good. Something divisible by 4 there. We've also got... Let's bring a holy water. I never bring holy water along. And with that, we'll embark. Alright, scouting squalid homes is what we will be doing today. We'll be running through the Warrens, trying to take a look at a medium mission for some of our mid-level characters. The ones that we don't depend on too heavily, but the ones that nonetheless will become important if we ever find ourselves in a rough spot backed into a corner because our mainline guys have been killed. These ones are filling in. It's their job. That's what they're there to do. So, you know, onward and upwards, I suppose. Got ourselves an attack right there, but we were blessed with the surprise on the front end, so this shouldn't be much of a challenge at all. I'm going to have him start throwing out some songs to maybe see if we can fix up his stress before things get out of hand. We're also going to start seeing if we can clear the front line by focusing fire on the enemies that would harm us. I'm going to attempt to stun the bug in the back. He is unfortunately resistant, and I didn't take a look at that. That was, I hit the wrong... Ooh, the abilities have moved around. I thought that he had the scroll right there, and so my muscle memory kicked in, and I was like, click forth of the scroll! I'm actually going to try and get rid of the bug right now. He's already stunned. There's no point in keeping him up. Let's see. Here they go. He's really, really disappointed that we won't be keeping him up today. It's not your turn, man. It's not your turn. I know you're all ready to bone, being as you're a skeleton, but... what can I do here? What can I do here? And so an easy fight ends easily. There it is. 250 gold, so not much of a reward. In fact, kind of a pittance. I probably should have bought Zealous Accusation and given it to him. Nonetheless, it's still okay. On this side, we got ourselves a stack of books. A stack of literary treasures in an unlikely location. What is it, like the Old Man in the Sea, like 5 different versions? An unsettling passage. It's okay. We've got stress reduction, so it's not a big deal. I'll take that over a permanent debuff that I then have to go through and dispel. Got a big fight coming in right here and a couple of enemies. Oh, good, we got the surprise one more time. Good, we're going to try an Iron Swan straight to the back line right here. See what we can get out of it. Unfortunately, the kill was just not available for questioning. I think I'll start out because we're going up against so many enemies with a high crit chance. Each of these has a very, very good chance to crit us and hurt us quite badly. Let's start out by just kind of like giving the DPS where we can, I guess. I could right now, I could have used his Holy Lance to jump to the back line and stab the pig, but I'm not feeling particularly aggressive right now. I had a good night's sleep. I'm feeling alright. I suffer from insomnia. I don't know if a lot of people know that about me. I know that Cryotic has that problem. A couple of YouTubers have that problem, and I've been getting mine under control lately. It's been like one of those things like in the backgrounds of the real life that I've been fiddling with and trying to get things arranged. And I'm happy to say that progress has been made. Unfortunately, a little dodge right there. I've been having a good week. I'm excited. I'm excited about the prospects of the future, which anytime you can say that you're excited about the future, I think is an important thing. And I'm going to bump my microphone right there, so forgive my booming intrusion. It is surprising how noisy it is when you bump a mic, even like barely. Like if my mouth barely touches it at all while I'm down near the... Oh, drums of doom. Okay, that's unfortunate. I like to see a little apostrophe in the middle of it all. The drums of doom. Not just any doom. Little bit of stress relief right there. Never anything to be sad about. We'll go ahead and take him out on the back line, and that should... Did she act this turn? I can't remember if she's acted this turn. An 8 damage hit right there, so I think we're going to have to sit down. We're going to have to distribute a little bit of the healing here. So there's 4 to kind of take the edge off of that hit because it was a big one. It was a considerable amount of damage. And if you get behind the curve when it comes to healing your characters, it could be a little bit nasty.
Slow and insidious killer.
We're going to open that up right there. I tend to not take a chance on it.
Measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Not really that wealthy, actually. Not really. Announcer, I think you missed the shot right there. We got our key back, which is a plus. With these, I tend to always load a key into them just because it makes them a little bit safer and it guarantees you won't get crit, which is otherwise not really something that you can make happen by any personal choice. So I tend to go after it. Let's see what we got here. He got himself nice and trapped. Luckily, he resisted the blood, so that's good. The sack's contents are yours. Who would have ever thought differently? Of course they're mine, by nature of me owning the property. Do we own everything on the hill? I assume that it's sort of implied that our family owns everything on the big hill that our city is built on, but still. We got ourselves a treasure fight in here, a reliquary anyways. The targets of choice right now. I'm going to go ahead and buff up for this one because I don't want to miss. I want to make sure that if we lay a hit down, I want to make sure it happens. On this side, we have the opportunity to go straight after the drummer with Iron Swan. She has a 17% chance to crit with it, and I think that's something that is a good choice. Not an amazing choice. I dislike, can you hit the third line? She cannot. So because she can't hit the third line, I want the Swine Wretch is who I want. Well, Iron Swan, that's 6 damage right there. That's unfortunate. Two attacks in a row, she's managed to get herself the lowest possible damage modifier. There we go. So the drummer's up out of the way, and then I'll try and think of something clever. Now that the back line's gone, Iron Swan isn't useful anyways, so it'll be alright. I'm going to throw some healing on her just in case the unforeseen happens, and she takes a little bit more damage than she's ready to bear. Let's have a look here. We've got ourselves... Let's keep our stacking buff going. I like crit and I like accuracy. And this is one of those fights where I'd rather not fiddle around with a whole lot of missing. Got ourselves 9 damage to the back line right there. Not going to focus on the Swine Chopper.
Ah, the Swine Chopper. We got the Swine Chopper, California for the California. The Swine Chopper, no, he missed. The cowboy boots.
Alright, did you know that about Arnold Schwarzenegger? Everybody in California is kind of like an Arnold Schwarzenegger fan. Like, we know a lot of dumb factoids about him because he was our governor, and we were actually surprisingly, like, okay with it. Like, everybody's like, yeah, sure, why not? You know, whatever. Enron is pillaging and destroying, and half the state's burning down, and, you know, but whatever, what else could go wrong? Let's just go with it. Let's just go with it. It's unfortunate that the Swine Wretch moved back, and that also we got a Dadaga. And so, unfortunately, since the Dadaga went through, I think that for right now... Yeah, let's just go for the kill right there. Let's limit how many enemies we got to face off against for right now. On this side, let's start off on the Swine Wretch. These can be problematic because they can stack permanent debuffs on your characters as well as increasing your stress to just ridiculous, ludicrous levels. And so, like that attack right there, Vomit's the one that does it. Yeah, so you got to be careful about it. Let's go ahead and get some stress reduction going. Got that right there. He's going to be the David to our proverbial Saul. And then we'll get rid of the swine in the back. We'll focus on the front. The Swine Chopper shall soon fall from favor, I suppose. I don't know what favors he has. He went to a party recently, came back with a super awesome bag full of just party favors. That was always when you were a kid. I've noticed that party favors were better when you're a kid than when they are when you're an adult. When you're an adult, it's always like some random, like, cheap wine. It's okay, though. I like cheap wine. In fact, I typically go for bottom shelf. There's a lot of, like, interesting things about wine. The procurement and the devourment thereof is that you don't really have to pay a lot of money for wine. You just kind of, like, sort of got to refine what brands and what wineries you enjoy. It's going to be nasty in the beginning. It's going to be like drinking turpentine in the beginning just because you don't know what's good and what's bad. But after you try out 10, 20, 30 different wines, just kind of like grabbing a $4, $3 chuck every time you go to the supermarket, you'll find a couple that are, like, vastly underpriced but are actually way over quality. And over time, it'll grow on you. Actually, I'm not a big fan of, like, cabs and things like that. I do like white wines, but I'm actually a champagne person myself. I absolutely adore champagne. Champagne is one of those things that I've just gotten really, really obsessed with as I've gotten older. I enjoy it a lot. A makeshift dining table. An oddly assembled dining table. There might still be some food scraps around. Weird. Okay, so I've never seen this object before. And I don't know what's a good plan right here? Let's take somebody that's low on stress. Everything's been eaten already. Well, there you go. I'll take no result to a bad result if I have my option. We got a scouting check right there that went through, which is very, very good. I'll take a check in any form. Let's go ahead. Actually, I hate that. I think we should move away from checks in the modern world. Checks are just like, why? No! There's always that guy. You ever notice there's always that guy at the supermarket paying with a check? You're like, ugh, debit card. Debit card, why? You and your ancient 50s technology. A barrel that reeks of powerful liquor. Well, hell, get on in there. Oh, good, it has stashed treasures. Does it also have liquor, or is it just, you know, one by one? Alright. Well, because we picked up freebies, I'm going to go ahead and heal her a little bit. We'll continue on into the dungeon. I may, right about here, allow the darkness to fall off so we can make a little bit of cash. I've been disappointed by our take on the last couple runs, and so I'm hoping that we can sort of like flesh out our monetary supply without taking too much damage at the same time. However, we've been given a challenging fight in front of us. This group is actually varied enough to where it could give us paws, and if it can't give us paws, it'll give us claws, and if it can't give us claws, it'll definitely give us tusk. So, I'm going straight after the back line right now. I'm actually going to be really, really aggressive about this whole thing and see if I can get things laid home. I just want that critter right there taken care of. We can deal with the excess stress. It's that random thing, and it's permanent debuffs that cost us a lot of money. Every time you get hit with a permanent debuff, you either have to get rid of that character, or B, you're put in a situation where you just lost 1,200. And looking at our take right now, our take is not nearly so girthy to where I think I'm ready and prepared to start taking, you know, 1,200 gold deficits in the early end of the fight. Let's go ahead and liquidate some of our foes right now. I'm going to give one more buff, and then, yeah, that'll do. And then as we get further on into the game from there, what I'll attempt to do is just stack up some stress relief. He actually just ate a stun, so never mind. The drums of debilitation, our abilities are definitely deed. Let's see over here. Let's just go straight through the front line. Let's do this thing gangster style. Let's have no strategy. Oh! There it is from McCall. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Unexpected. Definitely unexpected. That was a big hit for her. That was a real, real big hit. That was sort of like one of those one-hit wonders that takes place during a boss that shifts the tide of the battle. We're also having very, very good luck with our dodges and not getting crit, so I don't know if other things have been tuned below the surface, but the game feels like it's going easier on us right now.
Creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
Alright, so hidden compartment allows us 12 crests. A very, very good grab. A very, very fantastic grab. And so, hey, never, never, never complain about a good thing. We got a fight in this room that we're going to have to go through, which is not necessarily unfortunate. She read an unsettling passage. That's okay. Yep, we all should have known better. But you know what? I'm trying to get you guys permanent buffs. Sure, we'll keep the light level right there. I've actually heard that there's a sweet spot for the light level. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've actually heard you should keep your light level in between 1 and 25 if you're trying to treasure farm. I don't know if there's any truth to that statement right there, but I forgot to move him back to where he goes. Blanket fires out with a quad dodge. You are not prepared for the quad dodge, Fusilier, although the quad crit. Ooh, okay, so that's a big one right there. Alright, well that's why we bring the stress relief along. That is why we bring the stress relief along. We're going straight through the front line right here, if we can manage it.
Reeling, about to break.
2 low damage hits in a row are essentially going to guarantee. Let's go ahead and heal some of that damage real fast, because that's what we took. We're going to take some damage from the bleed as well. On this side, let's get that stress relief running. Tummy rubs and thighs for everybody. Chicken thighs, I mean. We brought in fried chicken along with us. Everybody loves fried chicken. Fried chicken reduces my stress. I'd be full of shit if I said that it didn't. I see fried chicken. Hell, I smell fried chicken. I start feeling relaxed. I'm like, just like Grandma used to make. A little bit of a crit right there. Unfortunately, it only allowed 2 people to de-stressificate. On this side, let's continue with the AoEs. I'd rather take 8 across the whole party than risk taking like a 3 or a 4 to one person. We got 8s right there, so on the next turn, we're going to have to change that strategy and start dropping nukes on all of those guys. Let's see here. Keep that stress running. Keep that stress running. We're taking a lot of damage right now. This fight is definitely being a little bit inopportune. I mean, we'll be fine. We're going to survive it without any trouble, but, you know, these enemies right here are not to be trifled with. Let's throw a heal on 4. Damn. And so anytime that happens, I actually find that the AoE was a better decision. We're going to try and stun lock for a little bit. They did nerf that in the patch as well, so you can't stun lock and farm out stress or healing anymore. The game actually punishes you for allowing the fight to go beyond certain rounds, so keep that in mind. Either way, though, I am going to still try and get 1 or 2 heals in before anything else goes wrong. Throw around a couple of AoEs. See if maybe we can work to the benefit of the party before he comes back and tries to fight with us. Please don't one-shot him. That's all that I ask. If you one-shot him, I will be a tad frustrated. Let's go ahead and throw out a bit more healing. 6 right there. And finish it. I don't know what the actual confines...
This expedition at least promises success.
That's a pretty good token right there for the grave robber. I actually wouldn't think twice about putting that on somebody. We've also got stun resist right there. Lowers your dodge, but it's not a bad item to throw onto maybe like a healer or something to guarantee that she never gets like rooked out of the combat with a left hook. Something like that. Alright, so this room should be reasonably safe right now. I don't know if I'm okay with letting the light level fall off just yet. Let's go ahead and repump things back up, and then we'll head to the west. We don't have a whole lot of time left in the episode. We got like 4 or 5 minutes, but I'm feeling pretty good about this run. This is like one of those little farming runs that you do just try to make sure that everybody's okay, and that everybody's on the same page before you send your A-team in to fight a boss, because anytime you send your team in, there is a chance they may not return. And the Wizened Hag, while not a hard fight, is a fight that can have long-standing ramifications on your party, as in it's very, very easy to lose somebody in that fight. And so you'll be sitting around singing sad songs like, I don't wanna lose you. But you have to. You have no choice. They're just gone. They're gone forever, and there's nothing that you can do about it. Drums of Doom. And so yet another falls upon our head right there. Luckily, it didn't do a whole lot of damage. I'm going to start spamming out the real heals over here. The real deal heals so that they can feels all better. Because obviously they've been taking blows that allow them to reel. Let's start off with some DPS. How's that sound? DPS is sounding pretty good to me right now. If we can just power through the front line, that would bring me a whole lot of joy and a whole lot of pleasure. The simple pleasure of slaughtering pixels here. We're not slaughtering pixels. This is not like a cartridge-related situation. I got a game this week for my 3DS. I wanted to talk about it briefly. It's called Lost in Blue. It was for the DS, but somebody recommended it, and I apologize. Names are escaping me right now, but I did want to offer my thanks, just in case the person that suggested it as a title to me is in the audience right now. I appreciate the suggestion. I ended up buying it. I haven't played it yet because obviously it's not the weekend. I work straight through. That's just part of being a YouTuber. What you will learn is if you ever desire to be a YouTuber, the greatest skill that you can have here, if you want to make it work, be a workaholic. Seriously. Because you're going to work a lot. That's just YouTube. You work a lot. And so I got to wait for weekends. I take weekends off. But I work pretty much straight through on weekdays, and so I don't get a whole lot of leisure time to play around with my game, but it arrived this week, and I'm excited about trying it out this weekend. I really do. Also, The Escapist comes out on Fridays, so that should be pretty cool, around about the time that shows up. Swine Drummer, you want to die for me right here, pal? Buddy? Pal? We haven't gotten a whole lot of, like, health checks either. I'm sorry, hunger checks, interestingly enough. So the fight ends.
As victories mount, so too will resistance.
There it is right there. Make sure that certain people are healed up so that when they're taking damage, that sounds derogatory almost though, so that certain people can get themselves healed. I don't mean it like that. It just sort of like came out like that. I don't know. I hate that when you say something and then somebody takes offense to it, but you didn't mean it offensively, like you meant it totally innocently, like there was no snark, there was no sarcasm. You're just like, well shit, now I gotta make this better. Learn to apologize, folks. It helps. It took me a long time in my life to like learn how to apologize to people for real and imagined slights. And unfortunately, sometimes you just gotta sit your I don't know if it's unfortunately. You gotta sit your pride aside. Like sometimes, can't let it get too out of hand. Let's relax right now. I'm feeling good about it. Let's relax.
A moment of respite, a chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
I usually go for the double ration just because it does give such a huge benefit to double up on it. For right now, we've got Reject the Gods. We really don't need to do stress relief. So what I'll do for right now is I'm probably just going to focus on buffs. Our stress is looking really good right now. I think that if we can go for a Blessing on both of our frontline characters, there it is. Got anything on this side? Battle Trance. Yeah, let's go for Battle Trance too. If we can stack up a whole bunch of lovely little buffs, I think that'll put us in a good spot. We got 20% stress resist on everybody. Yeah, go for it. We may get attacked in our sleep, but from here on out for the rest of the dungeon, we're definitely going to be diminishing the amount of stress that we take. Forgive me, I fidget in my seat a lot, and so you may hear the sound of me drawing away from the microphone occasionally, and that's because I'm fidgeting in my seat. I got new slippers this week, too. As a fully grown furry man, like a hairy man, not a furry, I don't wear fursuits or anything. Anyways, as a fully grown hairy man, I got new slippers. Ah, they are upon us. Good. Ambush. And so our line has been rearranged. Not so horribly though, actually. Our line is still in okay form. It's unfortunate that she got drawn to the front. Right now, cross your fingers with me, everybody. Okay, so I was hoping that we wouldn't get a permanent debuff right there. I'm actually going to start working her backwards, and it's going to be nice and easy, actually. It shouldn't be too difficult for us because he's got Holy Lance, which is a fantastic ability if you hate ambushes. If you are frustrated by the prospect of ambushes, you you should take Holy Lance as a backup plan because it does save you in many, many locations from having to bypass a turn in order to rearrange your line. It's just the truth of the matter. Holy Lance, I find it to be useful in a lot of situations. I'm constantly using it. On ambushes especially. Ooh, he is focusing the hell out of our healer right now, but she resisted. Good lady, well done. Let's go see if we can get a stun right here, keep him out of the fight for a little bit, especially since he's already had his turn, and we've got a sizable bleed on our character right now, which means that we need to ride this out and get her to a point where she's fully healed and the bleed is no longer something that is worthy of our pressing concern. I call it a pressing concern just because I'm a little bit obsessed with putting pressure on people. It is what it is. I don't know. Oh shit, my finger slipped. That was all bad. Like I don't know what that. All right, finish the fight. Whatever. We'll make up the difference on food. It'll be okay.
Match is struck. A blazing star is born.
If we've got no room left, I'll probably get rid of the stun token. We'll take that right there. I want to bring cash back. Like I really want to bring back cash stacks. I don't want to look slack when we get there. I want our sack to be full of all kinds of goodies, and so that being what it is, let's take to the next room, and that'll probably be the last thing that we do in the episode. The crate contains stashed heirlooms, a few more crests, something that we've been low on the entire time. If somebody's got low stress, feel free to take a look at the occult scrawlings. He's been forever changed. You are forever a hylomaniac. I think that's obsessed with material things. That just means that he'll loot anything that might have treasure inside of it, so crates, bags. He does it without, like, looking or giving it any sort of pause. And so there it is. I think this is where we're probably going to stop off. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here at the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Darkest Dungeon. I look forward to seeing you in future episodes. I hope that you're enjoying the videos, and I will see you all there. Hi to everybody.